9,400 people voted on a single Reddit post last week. The questions was, is AI about to eliminate middle management entirely? Some said yes, some said good riddance, most said nothing. You know why? Because they were terrified. I want to talk about what is underneath that terror, because it has nothing to do with your LinkedIn profile and everything to do with your brain. My name is Sahar Andrade. I am your AI whisperer. I am a neuroscience-based leadership consultant or a neuroleadership consultant. I work with executives and the people who report to them. And what I see right now in organizations is not a talent crisis. It's a nervous system crisis. Let's get into it. As I always say, leadership doesn't fail, nervous systems do. Here is what is actually happening. Middle managers are being told they are the bridge between strategy and execution. At the same time, they are being told AI is going to handle the coordination, the scheduling, the data synthesis, the progress tracking. So what exactly is the bridge for? If the river is being automated, that question doesn't have a clean answer yet. And your brain does not like unanswered questions. Here is the neuroscience. The brain runs a continuous threat assessment 24 hours a day. It's asking one question on a loop. Am I safe? And safety for the human brain is not just physical. It includes status, certainty, belonging, autonomy. When any of those are threatened, the amygdala fires. Our threat center for survival fires. Cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes. The prefrontal cortex, which handles strategy, creativity, and complex decisions, goes offline. That is not a metaphor. It's a measurable neurological event. So when a middle manager reads headlines about AI replacing the role, their brain is not reading a business article. It's processing a survivor threat. And you cannot think your way out of a survival response. You can only regulate your way through it. So what does this cost? It costs the organization the one thing AI cannot replicate. Middle managers are not coordination machines. They are trust infrastructure. They hold the relational tissue between a C-suite that cannot see the floor and the front workers who feel unseen. What that tissue does when it's dysregulated, it frays. I had a director reach out recently. She said she had stopped advocating for her team in senior meetings. Not because she didn't care, but because she was exhausted from fighting battles that felt already decided. She went quiet. Her team noticed. And guess what happened? Her team started going quiet too. That silence cost the organization ideas they never got to hear, innovations they never got to apply, creativity they never got to practice. Here is what the data says. When status threat is chronic means it keeps going on and on and on, something specific happens in the brain's reward system. The ventral striatum, which activates when we feel valued and purposeful, goes completely dark, offline. When the structure goes dark, It's like putting a brakes on a car. Motivation drops. Initiative drops. Risk-taking drops. Creativity and innovation come to a halt. You get a manager who is physically present and strategically absent. This is not laziness. That is neurobiology. And here is the number that should wake every executive up. Global manager counts have dropped more than 6% in 3 years. Global manager counts have dropped more than 6% in 3 years. Not because companies do not need leadership, because they cut the layer that holds everything together while assuming AI would fill the gap. It has not. So what do you do? First, you stop treating this as a skills problem. If you go on the internet, LinkedIn, Quora, Reddit, subreddit, you're gonna see this item all over the place. People are just scared that AI will replace them. Leaders are scared that AI will replace them. Even executives, they are suffering from something that we call FOBO. Not FOMO, not fear of missing out, but FOBO, fear of becoming obsolete. But no one talks about it. They keep it inside. Their brain is running on empty because the prefrontal cortex is just offline. The survival is taking over. And again, you cannot walk your way out of a survival mechanism of your brain. You can just regulate the brain. But no one is talking about that. And I see it every single day on the LinkedIn posts. Everybody is talking about better strategy, better implementation, better integration, how we can let AI become better, how we can train our employees better, how we can have a better strategy for the next 90 days. And the one that really gets to me every time is when executives that know inside of themselves that they don't really understand what AI is or what's the plan or what's going to happen in 3 months, right? They're having whiplash because every single day AI is changing and they cannot keep up. But they expect the implementation and integration to be done in 90 days without even offering coaching for their teams. They just bark the orders, they give it to their teams, and their teams should do it. And that's why we have quitting from people. They say, hey, you know what? If my boss doesn't want to do it, I'm not going to do it either. I'm just going to be here. I'm going to listen. I'm going to go to training. I'm going to nod my head. I'm going to write a couple of scribbles on my paper. And then that's it. I'll be done. They want me to do the training. I'll do the training. And that's what is going on. Total disconnection. No one is talking about the real reason, the root of the problem. Like I always say, we keep treating the symptoms that will keep coming back with a vengeance. Maybe it's my medical background. We always go to the root of the issue, take care of it so it doesn't come back. Dealing with symptoms is like basically sweeping a problem under the rug that will keep growing like a cancer cell in the darkness. No one is talking about AI in change management terms, in human-centered leadership way, or in human-centered AI way. That's not how it works. It's change management, and change management is 80% humans, 20% processes. But even before AI, most organizations dealt with change management at 80% processes, 20% humans. That's why you have the resistance. That's why the change management doesn't work. That's why most of the change managements were failing. And now we see that in AI. There are survey after survey and a study after study and a research after research that more than 85% of the AI projects are failing. Why they're failing? Because they're not taking care of the human element in it. We have to go back to the basics. We have to go back to the root of the issue, the human brain. We are pushing our teams to the edge. We are pushing our teams to overwhelm. We are pushing our teams to misalignment. And we are pushing our teams to dysregulations. But the solution is actually really, really easy. Human-centered leadership. Human-first policy. Human-centered AI. So what do we do? First, you stop treating this as a skills problem. You cannot upskill your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. You can't. It just doesn't work that way. The human brain, the human anatomy was not created that way. You cannot go against the flow in this one. You cannot. So, and again, the solution is extremely easy. So what do we do? Because every AI training program that lands on a threat-activated brain bounces off. Like I said, people will nod their head, will look at the trainer, will scribble something, maybe will do an exercise or two, will feel good for a second, and the minute they get out of the door, it's like it's never happened. Because the person sits through the training, they remember almost nothing because there is a threat-activated brain. They go back to their desks more anxious, actually, than before. Regulation has to come first. What does that look like practically? Before you redesign the middle manager role, you answer 3 questions for the person in that role. So what are the 3 questions? 1, what is staying? It's like when you do change management, the first thing, the right thing to do in change management to quiet the minds, to provide less stress, is to tell them what is not changing. That's how the real way to start change management properly, to reduce resistance. You get their agreement, you get their buy-in by quieting their mind from the threat and from the worry, from shutting down the prefrontal cortex that helps them think. So question number 1 that you ask or that you answer is, what is staying? 2, what is mine to own that AI cannot touch? And what does that mean? It gives the human something to own, to know that they are good at this, that no one else can duplicate their effort. And guess what? There is a lot of things that humans can do that AI cannot do, like reading a room, like knowing when someone has anxiety, like proper decision making, like strategic thinking. Okay? And number 3, where do I fit in the future you are building? And this way, we are lessening the threat and they can see and visualize themselves where they can be in the future. When someone knows exactly where they are going, like if they have a GPS going to a new direction, their brain is calm. Why? Because they know they have the tool and the ability to get where they want to go. So you're actually giving them the calmness from their dysregulated nervous system. So I'm going to repeat the 3 questions again. 1, what is staying? 2, what is mine to own that AI cannot touch? 3, where do I fit in the future you're building? Certainty is not a soft benefit. Certainty activates the prefrontal cortex, like I said. It literally allows the brain to think again. It brings the prefrontal cortex, our problem-solving and decision-making center of the brain, online after being offline. The managers who are thriving right now are not the ones with the most AI skills. They are the ones who know exactly where they stand. They have clarity on their irreplaceable contributions. They have a regulated nervous system that can actually process what AI is asking of them. That is what my brain framework addresses. Not the technology. Human first. The human nervous system navigating the technology. You cannot separate these two things. If you are a middle manager and you recognized yourself in what I just described, I want you to hear this. You are not obsolete. Your brain is just scared. And a scared brain needs safety before it can be strategic, before it can go back online. If you are a CHRO or an executive watching your middle layer go quiet, that silence is costing you more than any AI tool is saving you. I have free assessment that I can put the link for you in the description here. That assessment takes 10 minutes. It tells you exactly where your organization stands in the AI integration process and where the human gaps are. And if you want to talk directly, you can book a Clarity leadership call, 30 minutes, no pitch, just clarity. Links are in the show notes. I will see you Friday. And as usual, before I leave, I ask you to show me some love. Thank you, thank you, thank you for making us on the top 2% global podcast. Please save this episode, share it with someone that needs to hear it, subscribe, give us a nice comment online because it helps our viewers and our viewership. I really appreciate you. This is Sahar Andrade. Until we meet on Friday, peace out.
1